Hi, good morning. Today we will be discussing Shakespeare. Okay, we'll be continuing our discussion on Shakespeare. In last class, we discussed the reasons for his popularity, reasons for his universal appeal, his timeless appeal, why he is relevant even today. In this lecture also, we will be continuing with our discussion. We discussed that how Shakespeare accepts human beings or its characters in the plays with all their imperfections, with all their limitations, all their defects, demerits. He believes that human beings are not infallible, they are fallible, and one should be accommodating, one should be accepting. That is the means, as we will be reading, the forgiveness is the very cardinal principle of Shakespeare's work. Acceptance, mutual respect, all these things he promotes. These are the philosophies of his writings. One should be accepting. And as we discussed that he is the product of the Renaissance, so Renaissance philosophy finds a beautiful expressions, reflections in his writing. Renaissance philosophy, in brief, we can say that in Renaissance the world was looked from anthropocentric perspective, means human beings came at the center, individual came at the center. So that was the potential of human beings was recognized, the divinity of human being was recognized, the goodness of human being was recognized. Okay, so this was the philosophy of Renaissance age. As we know that you must have heard the name of one very famous treatise by Pica della Mirandola, Oration on the Dignity of Man, where he says, वहाँ पे कहता है कि human beings are infinite. Okay, means there is immense potential, immense goodness, innate goodness in human beings. Okay, and that goodness should be encouraged. So that is the philosophy of Renaissance, and he appears to be highly inspired. Okay, and we get the reflection, manifestations of Renaissance philosophy in his writing. There is another quote called "Man is the measure of all things," Protagoras. Okay, so this is the philosophy, means all the change, you can say evolution starts from human beings. We are the creator of. Okay, so you can say this the power is in our hand to create our future, our life. So this is the philosophy of Renaissance. There is another important Italian architect, Italian critic, and of course the great initiator of the Renaissance art, Leon Battista Alberti. He says a man can do all things if he will. Means अगर आदमी चाह ले तो जो भी चाहे वो कर सकता है. The only thing that he has to make endeavor, make attempt, okay, make the effort to achieve the things, then he can do. It means इसका मतलब ये हुआ हमारे अंदर, ह्यूमन बींग्स के अंदर इमेंस पोटेंशियल है, हमारे अंदर बहुत कैपेबिलिटी है, हम लोग कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. ये है रेनेसां एज का. क्योंकि रेनेसां एज से पहले जो मिडाइवल एज है, मिडाइवल एज हम लोग देखते हैं कि मिडाइवल एज में जो बिब्लिकल डॉक्ट्रिन्स था, लोग बहुत ही सुपरस्टिशियस थे. जो कुछ भी होता था लोग कहते थे सम इनविजिबल फोर्स is governing this universe, things are not in our control, things are not in our hand. So this rationality was not at the, you can say, at the center. But in Renaissance age, rationality comes at the center, individual comes at the center. Okay, and the potential of human beings is recognized in us. That is the philosophy of Renaissance age, and this philosophy finds expression in the works of Shakespeare also. So if we look at the if we look at the works of Shakespeare, like Hamlet, where he says that there we find the unflinching faith of Shakespeare is reflected in the human being. Okay, how infinite they are, how they are the best creatures of the universe. That is the philosophy of Shakespeare. When he says, what a piece of work man is, what a piece of work is man, how noble in region, how infinite in faculty, in form, in moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel. So we are like angel. This is the belief in the innate divinity of man, and this is the same philosophy in Indian philosophy also, where it is believed that we are divine beings. So this philosophy gets reflected in the works of Shakespeare also. Another very great speech by Miranda, this is a character in that Tempest. She says, "Oh wonder, how many goodly creatures are there, how beauteous is mankind." Means that again, this is the philosophy, and she appears to be the mouthpiece of Shakespeare's philosophy, where he says that the mankind is very beauteous, and because of ignorance we forget our divinity, we forget our goodness, okay, and we are indulged in other, means the corrupt activities. So he is basically promoting the philosophy of life, we can say, of Shakespeare is forgiveness, acceptance, divinity, charity. All these things are the philosophy of Shakespeare. So if we take further discussion on Shakespeare, we find that he has got an immense belief in the innate goodness of human beings, and these are time and again, this is reflected. And he says in The Merchant of Venice, if we remember the famous speech of Portia, she delivers a excellent speech on the quality of mercy. There she says that the mercy, forgiveness is beneficial. It is fruitful for both the one who forgives, one who is forgivenness. Okay, it is benefiting the both. So this is the philosophy of Shakespeare's writing, that he believes in the idea of forgiveness, and it is this broad humanity of Shakespeare's writing that makes him distinct, that makes him different from others, and that is the reason for his universal appeal. So means he believes in the accepting of humanity with all its imperfections, all limitations, all narrowness, whatever defects, demerits are there, we have to be accepting, we have to be accommodating. That is the philosophy of Shakespeare's writing. So, and it is because of these philosophies that he is timeless, and because we know that in 21st century, where lots of writings are there, like the popular theories like Marxism, postmodernism, post-structuralism, deconstruction, and other theories, they are catching the popular imagination of the people. And in this age, if Shakespeare's interest in Shakespeare's popularity is undiminished, it is simply because that Shakespeare's philosophy, Shakespeare's approach, his treatment of characters. Okay, so if we see his contemporary or the people from other age, like Jonathan Swift, he says that the man is I hate and detest that animal called man. Means he has got a kind of a very different approach towards humanity. Similarly, in Ben Jonson's works, if we see that, especially in Volpone the Fox, he is very highly critical. He passes a very scathing criticism on the humanity, the brutality of humanity. But in Shakespeare's work, that we don't find such things. Okay, so these are the certain things for his, the certain reasons for his popularity. So in next class, we'll be discussing in next video that what are the other reasons for his popularity of Shakespeare's work. Thank you.